I used to wrestle in high school. And, as I've gotten older, it's definitely the sport that I'm most glad that I did growing up. Just because I feel like it teaches you a lot of things about, yourself, your body awareness and perseverance and shit like that, But, definitely growing up, I'm not going to say I hated it, but there were certainly times when I'd be asking myself if all the pain and hardships I was going through was even worth it. But looking back, it definitely was. But there are just so many topics that I could get into when I'm thinking about wrestling. But, the one that I want to talk about right now is the fact that you can learn anything from anybody. And, the reason I bring that up is because my high school team used to be, and still is, a very good wrestling program. But there was always one other team in our conference, our league, whatever, that would always give us a sort of run for our money whenever we played them, or whenever we faced them in the conference championship or whatever. And they'd win sometimes, we'd win sometimes. But we always knew that if we faced them, it wasn't going to be easy. And I remember this one guy on the team. If you met him, he'd probably be the shortest person you met this entire month. You know what I mean? I'd be even willing to guess that he'd be, or bet that he'd be the shortest person you met this entire year. But when you meet him, you think you're talking to LeBron, you know what I mean, or Carmelo Anthony, because his character, just the aura he gives off is just on another level, almost to too much of a degree. He'd win his matches. I never saw him lose a match, first of all, but he'd win his matches and he'd make sure you knew that he was better than you. The way he'd shake your hand, the way he'd walk onto the mat, the way he'd just toy with his opponents as he was wrestling them. And there's a lot of, I don't know, I think there's a lot of bad that comes from that sort of arrogance, because he didn't necessarily seem like a fun person to be around, and that's coming from an outsider. So I wasn't on his team, but who knows what the people on his team actually thought of him. They probably thought of him as an inspiration, but I don't think that arrogance and that confidence is all bad, though. I think, I don't know, it's sort of I don't know if inspiring is the right word, but it definitely makes you think about how a lot of somebody's possible insecurities or thoughts about themselves or how other people perceive them are fully just in the mind. He just exuded a sort of confidence in himself that I don't know, affected the way that other people even saw him, because I can imagine, I just know that if he didn't have that confidence in himself, then other people wouldn't see him. And by other people, I mean myself, because I don't know what other people are necessarily thinking about him, but I know that if he didn't have that sort of that that aura and that confidence about him, I wouldn't think of him in the same way. So it sort of just like goes to show that, I don't know, how you think about yourself is, or not even just how you think about yourself, like the work that you've put in, because like, he's a very talented wrestler, still is, definitely changes the way that other people can think about you. Just some food for thought on this Tuesday afternoon. What day is it? Tuesday? Yeah. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.